Yo, yo, yo. I'm just fucking around, gonna watch some videos. It should be good. Damn, my audio is much better now. Oh, yeah. So the last stream got taken down because of fucking me watching College Confessions of Arizona State University. So we're doing something else. I'm just gonna watch some other videos. I'm not sure what, but you know, just gonna turn something on, let it ride. I'm gonna comment a little bit, you know. It's a watch party. Of some sorts. Does this count as stealing content? I hope not. I don't know if I watch TK. I ain't gonna lie. Let's watch some of the fall of videos. I ain't gonna lie. You ever just typed in the fall of and just leave it at that, see what pops up? See, I don't think J. Cole fell off, in my opinion. This is kind of a wild take in my, personally. Honestly, I'm just gonna do this as like an audio test. I'm not gonna lie. Gotta isolate the audio. It should be good. Yeah, everything should be straight. I had to isolate the volume in my room. You know, had the fan going on, had the window open, all that shit.
J. Cole claimed the throne if he was going to go into one of the biggest battles of all time, but then decide to throw in the white flag and give up in that situation.
Damn, is he just speaking fast? Do I have his... I think I have him on faster playback speed. Ah, shit, 30 minutes. I'll put that shit up 1.5.
Understand why he didn't want to get into this messy situation with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. Is what's next for J.
I think he just talks fast, like in general, though.
This changed the situation for the fall off, and not only that, guys, but we just did our final recap for the entire Kendrick Lamar and Drake feud on our audio podcast. If you guys want to access it, all you have to do is check it in the comment. We're releasing episodes there every single Tuesday on Apple Podcasts.
Listen, if you need a recap on this shit, you weren't even in this shit. You weren't even like mentally in it to begin with. So like why recap that shit if it's like already past you? It should happen like a month ago. Hey, it's 65 trending though, so a motherfucker making bank off that shit. So I can't even blame him.
It's because since like 2018, J. Cole has been on a mission to cement himself as the greatest before it all ends. Like he rapped about on the song a lot, and he's even gone as far.
I mean, to be fair, ain't he like one of the greatest though? Nah, like I'm not even like dick riding, like though. I'm just being honest, like from anyone's perspective, wouldn't he be one of the greatest? Like you don't need the fall off to cement him as like on that list. Like he's already he put out enough like good shit to be on that list.
To make songs like Crocodile Tears, where he's rapping about how no other rapper is able to
Crocodile Tears. He's talking about the new album. Oh my god.
We've seen that the bottom line is that to be considered the greatest of all time or the greatest rapper alive, for most people, you need to be dominant in every single area. You need to have the catalog. You need to have the impact. You need to be able to show.
I don't know if you gotta be dominant in every area though. For example, like Kendrick wasn't really like that good in like. He wasn't that high up in streams as like Drake is. Sure, in this recent beef, he like did come back and like prove that he can be. He chooses not to, but I just think that's kind of a you don't need to be dominant in everything to one of the greats. Nas wasn't dominant in everything. He just had some really good ass wordplay, and like honestly, J. Cole is somewhat seen as like Nas's predecessor. Illmatic type shit,
Up when it comes to being involved in a rap battle, because the only way that you can claim the spot for the throne is to push people out of the way, and J. Cole decided not to go that route. So I feel like now the perception has become, in any conversation where J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are mixed in and combined, J. Cole's gonna have to take that back seat, because he's shown us that when it came to having.
Well, yeah, with Kendrick Lamar, he takes a back seat. Listen, I ain't about to take a back seat with Kendrick Lamar. That nigga the boogeyman. What you gonna do? Fight him for that spot? Oh my god! You saw how he did Drake. This shit was different.
For the longest time, he didn't show up to the occasion, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, he chose his own piece. And
then it was a couple of months ago, right? Because a lot of people felt like, hey, this is someone that I look at as a top MC, and now how can I advocate for him anymore when we're going into this large battle and he's kind of throwing the white flag?
I don't think motherfuckers really trying to advocate for J. Cole like that. Even RDC, who literally advocate for J. Cole, usually most of the time, ain't really advocating for J. Cole, because but it is what it is. Like that's just how it played out. Yeah, it's hard to advocate if he did throw on the white flag. The reason people were advocating more so for like Drake was because Drake didn't throw on the white flag. He really should have. Like, in Drake's position, people that were supporting him took his side because it was still ongoing beef. In J. Cole's position, people that are on his side didn't really take his position because, it's not really a beef. It's more so of like him taking a step back from it. He didn't want to because he knew it was something more serious than it was, And Kendrick's whole problem was like, yo, I don't like how you put Aubrey on that pedestal of Big 3. So fuck all that. I'm the big one. I don't think you want to be put on the same pedestal as someone who he thinks is a pedophile.
That was an opinion that you and I shared from a hip-hop fan's perspective, but like you said, there's also the human side of things. Now, looking all this time later, it's kind of like aging like fine wine, because like you said, it's perfectly on brand for J. Cole. Imagine J. Cole going into the shade room for 4 weeks straight with Kendrick Lamar and Drake and completely tarnishing what he built up as his legacy, as being a peacemaker and someone that's been very humble throughout his career. There's a difference between getting in the shade room and being vicious in that scenario.
Like, have that position cemented in his mind.
With that being said, Lou, how do you see that situation now? Are you able to distinguish both of them where it's like, well, okay, the performance itself is what really matters to me, rather than, okay, from a rap battling perspective, he just can't join that conversation. So how do you view those two situations?
Well, again, I think that it's aged so well just because of how ugly the feud got between Drake and Kendrick. So maybe he got that tip. Maybe he got that little notice of like, listen, bro, like, I'm going to warn you now, this is going to
got that tip
between these two guys. And if you don't want your family involved in this, or if you don't want to sort of step
in
a battle where you have to get down and dirty, then it's in your best interest to get out of this. But I think ultimately
that's what it came down to. I think he got the tip from Kendrick, but I think he got the tip from whoever was supporting Kendrick, which led him to be like, I'm going to take a step back from this shit. Definitely a better move than staying in it.
Prove that he's better than the competition through the lyrics themselves, through the bars, through the performances, through the projects. And I feel like he's going to continue to do that. He's going to continue to try to prove himself as the best in the game within that regard by, again, showing us through the verses and showing us through the music itself. That being said, though, I think that it's impossible for him to ever claim the throne while someone like Kendrick Lamar is around, just because, again, when push came to shove and it was time, there's no better way for a rapper to prove I'm better than this guy than to go head-to-head. And because he
I mean, most niggas won't claim that nigga's throne. Like, you gotta realize, like, probably one of the biggest people in the game took the fattest fucking L trying to claim that nigga's throne. Of course I'm not claiming his throne. That goes for like most any rapper.
I don't think that he'll be able to be regarded as numero uno as he's been calling himself. Do I still think he'll be able to be in the conversations of top 2, top 3, top 5 in the game? Absolutely. And I don't think it affects his legacy in terms of an all-time ranking. But again, he was talking about, you know, being this lyrical killer, and he sort of showed us that it wasn't really tying up into that fashion.
Well, that's a completely different conversation, in my opinion. I'll explain to you why.
How is it a different conversation?
Because
Different conversation. That nigga's stupid.
And that hadn't gotten into the battle rap feuds.
Yes,
and
but
that hadn't
he
gotten
still claimed the battle.
He
loss.
avoiding the question.
So like he claimed the battle loss.
I just think that it's kind of ignorant to look at this situation and being like, well, okay, you know, you backed out. It is an L. I don't want to say that it's not. It's definitely an L in this situation. When you look at it from the battle rap perspective, but when you look at his total artistry and what he's done for the game, I don't think it knocks off that many points, if I'm being completely honest with you.
So you believe that he could still be considered number 1 in the game after this?
It's always different because I've always had Kendrick.
Oh, he has Kendrick higher? Oh, okay. I mean, I don't think he's wrong though. Like, to a certain extent, it is a different conversation. And I do think J. Cole still is on that list. But it's just more so a matter of, like, he can't take that top spot from Kendrick. Or from really anyone else. He has to fight for that shit now. Before, it was, like, more so just like, oh, yeah, he is up there. If it's a top 3, he's definitely on in there. But now, it's like, fuck that, it's not my top 3. Because if you have a top 3, you gotta put Drake on there. Sad. It's hard to say. I'm not trying to get like shot for saying this shit, but like, if there's a top 3, you kind of have to put Drake up there because he did put on a lot of rappers again. But the thing is, he has a lot of weird shit behind the scenes, like talking to underage people and such.
That's my number 1. So my opinion's never really changed. I never really had to change an opinion. I always said that J. Cole was maybe the best informed rapper right
That's
now.
not what I'm asking. I'm saying, let's say after the fall off, which we'll get to in a minute, let's say he puts out an album that's better than anything Drake, Kendrick, or whoever has put out in the last 5 years. Incredible album, masterpiece. Bar-wise, he checks every box. Will he be able to be considered the best current form rapper to you if he accomplishes
I think
this?
there's an argument to be made. For sure, absolutely. Like I think that.
Yeah, that's an argument to be made, of course.
Catalog, to me, they're on the same level. If I'm being completely
Like, he's still up there.
Maybe there is a redemption story down this line.
Just because he backed out of a beef doesn't
Probably not.
lock that position away from him.
And it's arguably the best album of the year, hands down, and it's a unanimous, clear win by the entire community. Kind of want to chip this year, low key. So while yes, at the beginning of the year you backed out of a battle, at the same time, do you not value discography on the same level as a rapper?
Of course I do. What I'm trying to tell you is that I value everything. I'm looking at the full
For
picture.
sure.
So when I'm
Okay,
looking
so-
at someone like Kendrick Lamar,
Yes.
he's going to have checked more boxes for me because he's still putting out incredible albums like Mr. Morale, and he won the biggest rap battle of the last decade or two.
I don't
so
agree with
again,
you.
when we're looking
Mr.
at-
Morale does go fucking hard, though.
You have to analyze every single different aspect of the game when I look at that aspect.
Because you gotta remember, like, even Kendrick puts out good ass projects like that, so. Like, Kendrick's the main barrier holding that nigga away from number 1. If he keeps putting out good projects, Kendrick, I'm talking about, then that will lock J. Cole out of that, even if he puts out a good ass project after the fall off. Assuming the fall off is going to be like a 10 out of 10 project. Because there's no guaranteeing that either.
Kendrick will always have more points.
I don't agree with you, especially from your analysis, because you're talking about Mr. Morale. That didn't crack your top 5 of 2022.
Forget about what's
we're
happening in my top
I don't
five.
think you can look at this battle and completely what J. Cole has done over the past 5 years. I think Kendrick Lamar will be above it in my all-time list, like I had it, right? And that is
But the past 5 years, Kendrick has been working too.
Kendrick Lamar is the best rapper of all time in a lot of people's eyes, and I don't think that should change. But you saying, because you said before this battle that J. Cole's the best rapper of all time in this sort of scenario right now for the past 5 years, best informed rapper. So the fact that he retracted a statement erases everything.
I
and you had
didn't
that
say
opinion
erase
before
everything. I said it does not put him above Kendrick.
Well, we're talking-
I didn't say it puts him from number 1 to number 20. I said he can
One, comparatively to J. Cole, because basically what he did to Drake was he slapped his meat on that nigga's face. So, yeah. So it's hard to come back from that.
team as a series.
If you're dropping the best album of the decade and you're dropping a better album than he's dropped maybe in the past 8 years, I think you could look at that and be like, well, maybe he's not better, but they're on the same level. I'm sorry, that's just the way that I look
Past
at it.
8 years.
That's right. Past 8 years. Since 2016, since Damn. If the fall off ends up becoming better than Damn, and it's better.
2017 was 7 years ago, so that means you include Damn. So you think he's gonna drop an album better than Damn?
If he does,
around?
it's hypothetical. I'm not making statements. You have to listen to what I'm saying. You're completely disregarding what I'm saying. If he drops an album of the decade contender and he drops a fucking shit, there's no way I'm gonna look at him and be like, oh, well, that's okay. Yeah, but he's still backed out. So I'm not getting him any points for that.
I
That
never
makes no
said
sense. Because before this battle, you have to keep your same energy, bro. Before he got into this battle, you were saying that he was the best informed.
You know that J. Cole is not someone to fuck with when it comes to.
Listen, niggas got on that last feature he did. Fucking Grippy. That shit got shitted on. I personally like it. Even RDC was like, there's nothing that stands out about it though. You know, so I don't think he's killing every feature. That's kind of like a bit of an exaggeration. But he's killing most of the features. He's still doing his J. Cole shit, you know? He's still keeping his pristine, his prestigiousness to his features. But that last feature did some damage, I ain't gonna lie.
Bars, when it comes to the level of high quality projects, J. Cole is bar to none the best informed and has been the best informed rapper of the last couple of recent years. That being said, you cannot ignore the fact that when it came to the battlefront and when we're looking at rankings of rappers, looking at one in comparison to another, I will not be able to put J. Cole above Kendrick Lamar after losing in that battle. So even if he puts out, let me finish my thought, even if he puts out an album that is slightly better.
Nick said, shut the fuck up. Oh my god.
That makes him a better informed rapper. Kendrick comes out next year and drops an album that's maybe slightly less better than the fall.
I didn't agree with you.
All I'm trying to tell you is that when it comes to those rankings, if Kendrick Lamar maintains his level of quality, which he's literally maintained throughout his entire career, then Kendrick Lamar will maintain his position
You're just
of keeping the throne.
I didn't disagree with you on
Brothers, chill the fuck out with the arrogant comments and the yapping. You're getting too much in your feelings.
No, I didn't.
You're getting in your feelings.
Because you're complete.
Are these niggas friends? Like, I thought these niggas knew each other. He said, brothers, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. This cannot be a friendship. This has to be like some fucking rivalry happening right now.
Disregarding what I'm saying.
Man, fuck these ads.
Crazy sounds in here.
With all the bars about being the number one and about how if he gets him a song with Jesus and send him to hell, they're done with all of that. It's over. So I feel like when you look into the follow-up, while I do think it could be the album of the decade, I still don't.
Album of the decade is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Hold up. Album of the decade is that's a glaze that you need to back up. We haven't even heard any singles from this album. If Grippy is on that album, which you can't say Grippy cannot be a single because he posted a single recently. If Grippy is one of the songs on that fucking album, that shit will block it from being album of the decade. There's only a few songs that can be put on to make it album decade.
We've done conversations on this topic time and time again, and I have never, ever said that J. Cole was ever over Kendrick Lamar. At least in my books, as a hip-hop fan, and I still think that is cemented. The point that I'm trying to make is, it's not as black and white as people are making it seem. It's not a total loss for J. Cole. You drop an album of the decade.
Yeah, I suppose not a total loss.
Conversations that need to be
When
had.
did I say it was a total loss? I never said that.
Oh, dude, you had said that before. That it was a huge L for J. Cole, and that he can never come back, and he can never reclaim that throne.
I said, yeah.
I do remember him saying that, but it's not a complete loss, but it's going to stop him from being on that throne. Listen, after this fucking beef, Kendrick Lamar has been promoted to boogeyman status. So, we can't really say for sure that he can reclaim that throne. But also, there's evidence to prove that J. Cole is scared of boogeymen. I ain't gonna lie.
I said he won't be able to claim the throne as long as Kendrick is still around, pumping out amazing projects and coming with that energy of being the boogeyman, as he's proven to do.
But you don't think that if he drops the fall,
You call him boogeyman. Exactly.
that he is not in the same form or arguably better than Kendrick based on what's happened in the past
This
5
battle,
years.
you understand this battle, the side of the big three, the big once and for all. From this point forward, when it comes to the big three, your average hip hop fan is not going to place Bullet.
But we're not talking about the big three. I'm talking about inform. Big three and inform, in my opinion, are two different conversations. All time in that big three conversation, that was decided a long time ago. We're talking about inform. Who in this season is better in format? The past couple of years. If J. Cole drops the fall off,
In format? I don't know
that
about
he's one of the
that.
best informed rappers in the game right now, on the same level as Kendrick Lamar. But in all timeless, again,
in the same
it's completely
conversation,
different.
I've always
I mean, even though he's a part of the same crew, I dare say Earth Gang members and also even JID kind of kills that format and might outperform J. Cole the next year or so. You see niggas be dick riding JID, you know. So I'm just saying, it's a possibility that in that format, Jid might like fuck his shit up.
agree with that. I just feel like he will now not be able to surpass Kendrick if Kendrick decides to remain active and not disappear for another 5 years. Then I feel like he won't be able to surpass him. But let's talk about the fallout because we obviously know that it is maybe the most anticipated rap album in all of hip hop right now, J. Cole.
And, you know, to your point,
I think the nigga shouldn't have even been the beef to begin with. Cause honestly, you gotta think like this: if he stayed in, he would have got dogged on, got shit on. So that would have been terrible for the press for the album. The thing is, he left it. He left the beef. So people started still shitting on believing. Like, were you scared? Were you scared? Like some shit like that. So like that's definitely gonna make the fall. Even I was making jokes being like the fall off is probably about J. Cole or some shit like that. So like that makes people more so like not like the fall off or like it for ironic reason, thinking that it's an example of J. Cole falling off. So, you know, I don't think he should have been in that beef regardless. It was not fun spirited.
I'm the number one. Then there's certain questions to be had.
Like he thought at the beginning.
How they are in the context of the album. That's a completely different conversation. You have to only analyze that.
Oh, but also the way he fucking apologized, not it. Oh my god, at a concert, and he is like trying to be big bro. Nah, it's crazy. Saying take your best shot. Nah, it's not it. That's not it.
Stuff once you get there. But if I'm looking at some of J. Cole's best ever projects, right? Looking at examples something like a For Your Eyes Only, the reason why that cemented it as one of the greatest lyricists to ever do it, at least in like this new modern generation, was because it was thoughtful, it was thought-provoking. He had put so much into his pen, and it was so descriptive, and the way that the album starts and ends, like it was such a genius concept album. So then again, it's like, well, you know, maybe you don't get the UNO talk, but maybe you get a completely different concept record that ends up playing into that, or maybe you don't get both, and you just get kind of like I would say a description of where J. Cole's at in his life, and he puts it in whatever way he wants it. You know, point being, I could fucking draw fan concepts for days and days with J. Cole material. I feel like at the end of the day, everyone's gonna be down to hear J. Cole because yes,
man's a dick rider. Nah, I'm playing. I'm just saying though.
While all the attention was on Drake and Kendrick for these past couple of months, especially within this feud, J. Cole never really spoke. Didn't make any public statements. Didn't say anything on social media. Never picked a side. Never said anything. The only thing that we ever got was Daylight saying that he heard the fall off and it's some of the best rapping he's ever heard in his entire life. And that's coming from someone that's on Kendrick's side. Someone that went against Kendrick at the beginning of this feud. So I look at it and I'm like, well,
I don't think being on Kendrick's side is a good defense for this like take. Partially because most niggas that like Kendrick like J. Cole too. And it's because like they were friends. So and they probably still are friends. So the thing is like it's hard to use that as a defense for that, you know.
he's maintained his silence.
I personally wouldn't.
In album mode, that is the best thing he could have done. But let me ask you something, all right? Looking at the fall off, you were very, very, very imminent on the fact that you don't want to hear those bars. You don't want to hear anything about the UNO conversation. You know, you don't want to hear like those Johnny P. Caddy verses. But then again, those are some of your favorite verses from J. Cole. So how does that change your perspective going into this next release?
I think that before this situation transpired, that was probably going to be the play with the fall off. Was J. Cole making an album where he's rapping about wanting to wear the crown and wanting to be sort of within that realm of the way that Jay-Z, Nas, and Biggie were rapping back in the 90s about wanting to be the king of New York. I feel like J. Cole was going to come with that energy on the fall off because that's how he's been talking on his features and how he's been talking on the offseason. So now I feel like he's going to have to pivot. Maybe not change every single song that he wrote on the album, but I think that he is probably making drastic changes to what the focus of the project is. I feel like the main question and why I think this situation has helped the anticipation for the fall off is that now you're going to have people that maybe never would have even checked out the fall off wanting to go into this album to see J. Cole address the beef. And to be honest with you, I don't think J. Cole wants to attach this album too much to that moment. So I don't think we're going to get multiple tracks where he's giving his perspective and sort of giving you an explanation with more nuance and more detail.
Yeah, he already gave his explanation. He's like, why would he give another one? He has no reason to give another one.
Tails on wax. I think you're maybe going to get like one track that's maybe like sort of like a not let Nas down, but like let hip hop down kind of track where he's spending one moment telling the story of why he made the decision that he did and how he felt about it all afterwards. So I think he's going to slightly address it, but I think that what he might do is sort of check every box. When J. Cole was speaking to Slam Magazine, he said that the purpose of the fall off is not to drop his last album. He said, I never want to make any statement that this is going to be my last album because in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, I might look back on my career and be like, you know what? I'm inspired right now. I have that itch to put out something else. So he's not calling it his final album, even though he's been teasing some sort of retirement. But that being said, he said that he wants to let everything be shown on the table. He wants to make this be his biggest achievement when it comes to his skill sets being displayed. So that being said, I just feel like Cole will have to pivot, but also show us through the storytelling. Show us through his emotional intelligence that he's brought on through so many different moments throughout his career. So like I said, I feel like he'll probably pivot to telling the story of just a culmination of his entire career, the highs and lows of his career, where he started to how he got to, I feel like will be the majority of it all. But let me ask you that, like, do you think that maybe his tone and his energy and his mic presence might be more meditative and reflective versus a lot of the explosive, braggadocious sides of Cole that we've been seeing as of late?
I don't think he has to take a step back on that side. I think the way that you deliver your bars and what contains in those bars are maybe a bit different.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I've seen rappers have incredible mic presence and have this explosive energy to them, but at the same time, they're not necessarily, you know, claiming throne, or they're not, like, you know, tonality and what you're putting in your writing are two completely different scenarios. So to be able to say, like, I want
claiming the
songs, but let
throne.
go of my hand, no, I don't think that's in his best interest to do. Now, obviously, the way that the concept changes and the way that everything sort of spins, that's a completely different conversation. But one thing that I want to ask you is this, right? Because looking at the fall off, there's obviously a lot of pressure on Cole,
Yeah.
and this is supposed to be his Game 7 moment, the big slam dunk, something that's going to be living on with hip-hop fans for the rest of time. Do you think that this is the most pivotal point in his career? Like, this is the most important album to his career at this moment. Do you think that this is going to be...
Yeah, this career will decide whether this nigga like really is like that or not. Like, this career will really like lock in for like whether he like is about that or not. You know. Yeah, I feel like if he does well on this career on this album, people gonna look at him more like in kind of not more comfortable, but in a more preferable light. But if he does terribly on this album, oh my god, they're shitting on this nigga, bro. They are done with him. I'm just saying, like, this career is like, he's very important to his. This album is very important to his career going forward.
Where it's gonna be like, okay,
Especially with how long he's been teasing. He's been teasing it for like the last 5 years. Oh my god, it's been crazy.
cemented. There's no other
It
conversation.
is a waiting,
I don't
bro.
think that it's a do or die for J. Cole like some people are making it out to be. You know, like I think it's impossible for him to drop a big date type of album and actually fall off. Like, I don't think there's any world in which that happens. He's just too good of an artist to be able to do that. I think that if
Damn,
he
niggas
checked
still
all the
shitting on
boxes
Chance the
that
Rapper
Will check, for
when
example,
they talk
he
about
has
shit like
talked about
this.
he would bring the LA Lakers freestyler as he's been throughout this feature run. If he's gonna
That's just
sound as
crazy.
hungry as he did on Friday Night
He
Lights, which
Chance the Rapper like,
Will Hunger
what the
as
fuck
well,
did I
he's
do?
gonna give you that- Bro, this guy literally compared this album to Reasonable Doubt. Like he's calling this his masterpiece. He said the fall off is like if Hov dropped Reasonable Doubt last. Like we're expecting a masterpiece at this point.
And I think
Reasonable
just
Doubt.
as I said, and I still stand by
Nah,
it,
bro,
it's
that's
what
crazy.
matters right now. It's
See,
like versus that-
when the pedestal's that high, it's hard to like fit that, you know. So comparing it to Reasonable Doubt is kind of crazy. Impossible shoes to fill.
gotten recently after the offseason and seeing what he's been able to do in the past 6 to 7 years at this point. But going on to your statement about, you know, his fans want the masterpiece because of what happened with the battle, I think a lot of his fans are actually happy that he didn't go into
So
that
you don't
battle.
view this as like a redemption album. You don't think people are gonna view it that way? Interesting.
I don't think so. I think that you already see that being out of his battle, and then all the big accounts and the journalists are
Yeah,
and then
people
boom, and everybody
do think he's smart for getting out of the battle.
That's how I feel like the internet reacts.
It's good that he did.
Fuck, it's doomsday. Shit, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? It's time. Give it 2 months, see how the play plays out.
Yeah.
And let's wait even more time now until we get to the fall off, right? And that anticipation and that hunger is gonna build up. So let me ask you one last question before we end this off for today. Where's your anticipation after the fall off officially? Now that we're on record, where do you see this album going? And how do you think you're gonna receive it?
I think that I'm just excited as I was before this whole situation took place, just because, again, like, this is J. Cole's magnum opus. This is what his career has been.
Damn, this stream is buggy
throughout
as
this
hell.
entire last decade, really. And I think that I'm so intrigued to know how J. Cole is going to express himself when it comes to the decision that he made, and not only that, but also how he's sitting with all of it, right? Like how he views it from.
That nigga got a lump in his stomach, bro. I guarantee you he ain't sitting well with that shit. Bro, niggas were shitting on this man. Even his biggest supporters kinda like were turning their back. So, but honestly, he never been the type to really care about what people think. But I don't know. It just depends if Nas says some shit about it. If Nas is like, oh, I can't believe he did that. He's through. He's through. He's done for.
A place of reflection and meditation and all of it. And I feel like this decision that he made, although a lot of people were disappointed by it, this just humanizes him even more. And I think that that's going to be what we see from J. Cole on the fall off, is him being this guy who's really shown his cards and been like, look, this is who I am. Even on a song like Trade the Truth and Ibiza that's aged so well, he's rapping about showing you every side of himself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. He's telling you, I'm making bad refrains, I'm making poor decisions within my music, but I'm sharing all of that. I want you to see all the flaws, because no human or no...
You know, I trust this guy's opinion because he name dropped 2 different J. Cole songs that I forgot were even on the album. Well, I remember Crocodile's Tears was on there, but I forgot about Ibiza. That shit crazy. Like Tears in Ibiza. That shit crazy. So I don't think he's being biased. I think he's just being honest.
Back in a song like Heaven's EP, you see how humble his approach is when it comes to the rankings, and even rapping about, like, I don't play with the family, that's one thing that I refuse. I can never, I piss in the celebrity tea because I don't do any of the gossip shit. Like, we know where he stood from the beginning, and now I think this album is going to show us that he is a man that you have to respect and one of the best that we have in the genre. And I think that knowing that this is maybe the last hurrah or like the climax of the career, there's no way you can be excited for this as a hip-hop fan, no matter what the fuck happens.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that fact. When you look at it and you look at everything that's built up over the past couple of months, the stakes are high, but if there's one man to deliver in this situation, it's fucking J. Cole. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. And yes, there's been a lot of clowning, a lot of people talking online, but I don't even give a fuck about that. That's not real life. I want to go into this piece of art and I want to enjoy that, and I want to be able to listen to his perspectives. Like J. Cole's someone that genuinely inspires me from, just a mind's perspective, how to look at real-time situations, and just his perspective on things and the way that he's able to articulate them, and mix all of that in with the way that he's always done his raps and how well put together they are, how his rhyme schemes are structured, who's going to be producing on this album. There's just so much that goes into
Metro Boomin, Pinky,
absolutely.
in the studio with Michael Ealy.
You can't see my cursor. They need to take that fucking Drake album down, bro. Like, that shit probably ain't the best. Why is Kendrick behind him though? Like, why is Good Kid, Mad City behind him, but you can't really see it? But I ain't gonna comment on it. I ain't gonna comment any further.
Later series. Last question for real this time. Do we now think that J. Cole takes more time with this album, not only because he's probably reworking it after the battle to address it and maybe change the entire focus of it, but also maybe because the way that I'm thinking about it, again, I think although he needs to address what happened, I don't think that he wants the fall off to be a footnote on the larger story that is this battle between the big three. So do you think that he maybe drops, let's say, in 2025 so that it could feel like its own moment? Tough question, right?
It's a tough question because he's kind of already started the marketing rollout. The marketing rollouts change and they come and go.
Mhm.
I don't have a date, and I don't know what's going to happen. If I have to guess,
And that's for a day, but I'm saying, do you think he's going to try to put some distance between this moment and the album?
maybe not. Is it smart to do that? That's the question I'm asking myself right
Could
now.
be.
That his name is hotter than ever, to be quite honest with you. And everyone's kind of siding with him on the online community when it comes to, like, just looking at him and being like, yeah, you lost the battle, but at the end of the day, you made a very smart decision for yourself. So I don't feel like it depends what he's at with his artistry. I don't want to tell him what to do and what not to do. At the end of the day, it's up to him. But I feel like it could be seen both ways, in a positive and negative. Like, you take more time with this, maybe the anticipation dies down a bit, which I don't think is a possibility because fucking J. Cole wants to fall off. But the positive behind it is that it's really, you're in the zone right now. You're in the hot zone. 2024 has been so active for rap music, and it's like, if you could top off this busy year with the album of the year contender, that's a fucking W in my book. So guys, let me know in the comment section how you feel about this situation.
That should be solid. That should be solid. I'm saying
When
shit.
it comes to arguably his most important album in his career. Thank you so much for watching this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
That shit crazy. Nah, that's facts though. That's facts. Man, fuck this ad.
Need to collaborate as a team, but you're not all together.
Alright. I just want to do this to test my my audio mixing. See if my voice is good comparatively to the video. I'm not watching the video. I'm watching the video. It'll be a short one though. Ooh, I might watch the Doctor's Respect one. I don't know. I'm watching Patrick CC video. Fuck that shit.
Just 45 days before his fight against Devin Haney, possibly an admission to rehab, or at least restricted access to social media because his erratic
Shit,
behavior was sending him
it's
into
fucking
a
up.
downward spiral. He was
Hold. This shit is choking right now.
under no circumstances capable of fighting the undefeated 31-0 champion. And then he absolutely demolished his opponent, becoming victorious in a fight that
Oh
he
my
was
God.
destined to lose.
Wait. Why is this shit being so ass right now?
He even bet $2 million on himself to win, a wager that earned him $12 million. Ryan trolled his opponent, the world, and everyone went from calling him crazy to a genius. But Ryan was a ticking time bomb. He has an
That's a lot of money, though. That's a lot of money, though.
clear alcohol addiction and an evil darkness inside of him that finally revealed itself during a Twitter rant that got him banned from boxing forever. However, to understand how it got so bad, we must go
people
back to
on
5
Twitch
days before his fight.
follow.
Ryan announced that he was getting divorced from his wife, Andrea Salina. Ryan's wife, Drea, gave birth to their son.
My bouncing is because my shit might cut out again.
Until January 5th. Less than 1 hour after Ryan made the post, he also made a formal statement that he would be getting a divorce from the same woman who just gave birth to his son. The narrative that Ryan divorced his wife within an hour of their son being born.
So, you know, a follow go a long way, you know.
True, and that he just decided to announce to the public both
Catch me later with my internet's acting better.
despised Ryan
Shit.
This is a cowardly move, and that he was a deadbeat. His fans speculated that maybe this woman cheated on him, or maybe that this wasn't actually his child. But the court documents say that they split due to irreconcilable
He has baby daddy
differences,
issues?
which doesn't really help us understand the truth. Regardless, going through a divorce is extremely stressful, especially when there are children involved.
Damn.
People began noticing a transformation in
That
him.
shit
He seemed to
tough.
have gained weight. His face looked bloated. His speech was slurred in interviews. He was constantly
Nah, I think that shit just happens when you become a father, bro. Like, that's some real shit.
twitching and moving around. Just look at the before and after differences in his speech, clarity, and body language.
I think that's the most important thing in my life. That's the thing that keeps me as
Oh, was he, like, on drugs?
possibly being in calm. Because when I'm not fighting, You know, I don't know where to put all this energy. I have so much energy. I have so much thoughts and so much passion for everything I do. If I don't have a fight, you know, I'm like, what do I do?
I mean, it wasn't really the people like influencing me like, damn, that hurt. I don't really care. If I'm going deep down in my heart, like, I don't really care about my job.
In an interview with Ariel Helwani, fans suspected he may have been on substances.
You feel confident that you can hang. You know, he's not typically a ground fighter, but obviously. Does it? Wow. Do you beef with him? No, I mean, he's been calling me out for a while. Okay.
He called me out first.
Nah,
Ariel
shit
was trying to
crazy.
have a discussion with a high teenager. Coke, weed, and ego.
He's trying to fight anybody.
And at first, this definitely
Man's a walking crash out.
seems like a stretch. These were probably just some of his haters trying to spread rumors. But less than a week later, his cryptic social media posts raised real concerns. On March 3rd, 2024, a video posted to Ryan's Twitter seemingly reported his death. The caption read, March 3rd, Sunday, 2024, we slit RG throat and threw him in a basket. Nobody will find him. Video is exactly
Damn.
666 in time. We told you we were coming. The violent message is followed by a series of random...
See, I remember they start posting shit like this. He was wilding out, bro. This was. Listen, bro, just box, bro. Just box and you'll be good. He have to do all that extra shit.
press letters that closes with the sentence, Satan is sitting at the top now, 666. The same video was posted on Instagram with the caption, this is why you don't mess with us at the top, with even more gibberish. Also note that the satanic demon Baphomet is mentioned in the caption. While some people immediately...
Nigga wildin' out. Why you do that?
His ex-wife posted a message stating that she was concerned for him. He may seem fine, but he is not. I know in my heart he is being heavily oppressed. This is not a troll. I'm genuinely concerned, and so is all his family members. We are not a part of any of this, and we want him to get better, but this is real. Pray for him. Ryan tried to clear the air the next day with this video, but it left people even more confused.
That nigga started the video in one of those like UK puff jackets. That's why I know he ain't in his right mind. Who's blocking his cards?
Who are they? Who tried to put him in jail? Who is controlling his money? 2 days later, Ryan Garcia took to Twitter to claim that he was kidnapped by the higher-up elites and forced to watch the most horrific crime known to man.
He just said that shit because Andrew Tate was on that shit, bro. Yo, anyone on like in some deep shit that is completely their fault actually, that gets like a talk with Andrew Tate will always go to, it's the Matrix, it's the higher ups, I'm being silenced. It's just a good excuse.
Ryan sounds distraught. He's slurring his words. His fans are even more concerned.
Good way to get out some bullshit, you know.
Tweets. I won't read all of them, but some of the more cryptic ones read, before I go, I want to release everything. Does no one care about the children? Shame on y'all for staying quiet. You know who you are. He also mentioned Bohemian Grove a few different times. The Bohemian Grove is a 2,700-acre private campground in Monte Rio, California. It is home to an extremely exclusive gentleman's club that hosts a 2-week retreat every July where some of the most powerful men in the world attend. During the first weekend of the summer encampment, robed figures sacrifice an effigy as part of a ritual meant to banish all worries from the gathered members. Yes, they make a sacrifice every year during the retreat, but they ascertain that it is not a real living being. The Grove has been the center of...
I don't think that's that's an actual thing.
Lives are sacrificed here. Children are trafficked here.
See, that shit weird. That shit weird.
We do know that the Manhattan Project planning meeting took place here in September 1942, which led to the
Manhattan.
ultimate firing of the atomic bomb.
Shit,
However, you can also find hundreds of posts from people
like
who worked at the
Truman
that say it's
type
nothing
shit.
more
That's
than
crazy.
rich boomers who just get drunk for 2 weeks straight. They do admit that a weird energy permeates throughout the camp, and the members have a strange love for urinating on trees, but nobody claims to have seen anything worth sharing with Alex Jones. Either way, it's rare to see a celebrity as famous as Ryan speak about such conspiracies, and we have seen other celebs speak out about similar powerful figures in the industry only to be blacklisted from the industry or labeled as crazy. The follow-up post that Ryan made...
It'd be really funny. Yeah.
Man, you need something to cover up that window
Yeah.
so that you ain't got that sun coming in.
Alright, I'm back.
After his Twitter rant did not ease conspiracy theorists' minds.
Listen, bro, that's just odd. Like, what even is it? It's like just rope. I don't know, bro. They nigga tweaking, bro.
These conspiracy theorists' minds.
But coming back to it, I'm not going to speak on any other topic other than boxing, sports, and my fight. That's the only thing I'm going to be talking about.
Ryan is seemingly sedated and reading off a script in a very robotic manner. More theories took place in the comments about him being silenced by the elites, or that this isn't actually him and he was replaced by a clone, or this is some sort of humiliation ritual. His opponent, Devin Haney, says otherwise. He tweeted, "This is all an act, y'all. The fight is happening on April 20th. He's just playing crazy to sell it," which is weird because there are people out there who are actually crazy, but he's just acting for attention. There is no doubt that Ryan's antics developed massive interest in this fight.
Didn't he lose that fight? Like, I'm gonna be crazy, but he was acting up and playing crazy just to take an L. That's just crazy, bro.
It's not like Ryan and Devin had this long-standing real-life beef, which is usually the main reason why any fight gets a ton of hype. Because when you watch their face-offs and trash talk moments, they seem more like two people just having a mild
That
disagreement.
shit goofy.
That's stupid. What you mean? I gave you an 8 count. You did not give me an 8 count. You don't remember that fight in the arena? No, you beat me. I beat you. So how did I get a point 3 round? I won. Because you won. You beat me all 3 rounds. Duh. You still win. No, but I got a point taken.
It seemed like every day Ryan was an entirely different person, and even though the conspiracy theories and obscure tweets slowed down, his mental health and potential substance use was still in question.
I've been feeling a lot of hurt because I tried myself. I tried the hardest to share all the love that he gave me, and I tried to...
Why is he at this angle with the camera while crying? This is possibly one of the worst angles to have when you're like doing some shit like this.
Out other kids, and I tried my best, and everybody tried to break me down.
Rich, poor, sad, happy, mad. I'm the same mother. I'm the same dude that showed you I got big balls. All you have in this life is your balls and your word. And I hang that shit to everybody straight up. At the end of the day, I'm like Scarface. Say hello to my big friend. No little friend. This is a big friend.
When I was on the Katy trail, literally, I was on. Oh, I'm drunk.
This nigga kind of weird.
And I told the woman, "Do you support that?" She looked me in the eyes and says, "Absolutely, with thumbs up." That is crazy. And yes, I'm running for president. I'm not even kidding. Just like-
Running for president. I guarantee he's not running for president. That's just stupid. To run for president, you have to put like a lot of money in that shit. But also, like, that's a crazy statement. I don't think he's running for president. I don't think he's actually doing that shit. It'd be kind of weird if he was. Shit, this connection's acting up.
But despite what the internet had to say, Ryan was confident that he would win this fight. He had so much confidence that he did not seem to take his opponent seriously.
You might hear me sing one of my songs between rounds. And he's like, "You want to hear one of my songs? Look at the new one. NGQ. Doing what I do. All white. Looking nice. Okay. Come through."
He even showed up to the weigh-ins drinking a beer. Ryan made a deal with...
That nigga was looking at him like he... he was looking at him like, we're not making it out. This nigga he's getting no deal. No deal. He looks so unimpressed. That shit crazy. Don't say Blade though.
Looking nice. Okay. Come through.
He even showed up to the weigh-ins drinking a beer. Ryan made a deal with Haney's team beforehand that he would pay them $500,000 for every pound overweight he was, which ended up being a bad move because Ryan weighed in at 143 pounds, meaning he owed them $1.5 million, but he honored his deal and paid them the 7 figures. If a boxer comes in overweight, they can technically disqualify him, but Devin Haney insisted that he did not care and the fight should go on.
And at any point, did you consider not taking the fight, considering he missed weight by over 3?
Of course not. It don't matter what way he came in. I'm a true champion, and I will show it.
It was now just a couple of days before the bout, and the boxing world was convinced that Ryan was crashing out, and this would be one of the most devastatingly one-sided fights in history. It's also important to understand that Devin Haney was...
He indeed was crashing out.
No-brainer that he would walk away with the W. I mean, that's for sure what the odds makers thought. The odds for Devin Haney to win were overwhelmingly favoring him, somewhere as high as -900, -800, but the average...
-900?
Bet $600 to make 100.
It's a fucky ass way to bet. Like, not even way to bet. It's a fucky ass bet. Like,
the odds for Ryan to win were placed at +550, meaning your bet would be multiplied by 5.5 if Ryan won. And a lot of people lost a lot of money that night because even though the score indicates Ryan won by split decision, he dominated Haney in the ring, knocking him down 3 times even though it should have been 6 because Haney managed to hang on to Ryan's waist for dear life. Ryan looked as sharp as ever. He was not playing games. He was not dancing around or hugging. He was there for a brawl.
OnlyFans was being sponsored. The fuck?
violations and potential alcohol abuse, Ryan gave Devin Haney his first loss. And within 72 hours of the fight being over, he sat down with Patrick Bet-David and told the world that this was a master plan to convince everyone he was crazy, so they doubted him.
My cameraman Chance, Ajay's there. Hey, we have it pre-recorded months ago. What did I say was gonna happen? I said I'm about to make sure everybody thinks I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Why? It's gonna be called the Great Escape. Like I had it all documented. I was already planning it, weeks and weeks and months behind, and I was not gonna budge for nobody. It didn't matter if I went on his podcast, anybody's podcast. I was acting like sporadic, just like crazy. I would go on spaces, like spaces. I would do this with my nose. It's just a kick. I had everything like just like, but then you make adjustments. What was real though is at times I did drink a little bit because I like to drink.
Ryan claims that basically all of his pre-fight antics were a lie, besides the drinking, which does explain his face being so bloated. But he did tell Jake Paul on a FaceTime call that the beer he drank at the weigh-ins was fake.
Yo, do you have extra beer? Alright, you said it was what? Oh, wait. Yeah, I thought it was real.
And although faking multiple manic episodes is definitely a twisted way to get...
I mean, a bag is a bag, and clearly this nigga's a bag chaser. He made his money back, and that's what really matters.
Attention, he did double down.
Some niggas disagree with me, but that's just how it is.
There's actually really people in the front lines of all this. I'm in contact with him. His name is Jacob. I'm not gonna say his last name, but basically he's a big advocate. He goes to Congress all the time to speak about child trafficking, and he could confirm all these names.
The kid, did you actually have videos of kids?
I actually do. I do have videos.
You have videos?
Yes, we have videos.
Who has seen? Who have you shown?
The guy Jacob. We're gonna go to Congress today.
The most shocking story that came from this was that Ryan wagered a $2 million bet on himself to win, which, yes, is legal. Boxing is the only sport that allows athletes to bet on themselves. However, they cannot bet on themselves to lose, obviously. Since Ryan's odds were at plus 550, that would mean his payout would be somewhere around $10 to $12 million.
Damn.
You bet $2 million on this.
Yeah.
Is that a true story?
True story.
And you made $12 million?
Sick. Yeah. But basically, gave everybody the word to place that bet. I just felt like really disrespected by Vegas. And in my head, I said, this is going to be the biggest Las Vegas ever had in a minute. Because they're like, I just felt like it was disrespectful.
Now, we don't have any proof that Ryan made this bet. He is the same guy who lied about literally everything leading up to this fight. So at this point, it's kind of hard to believe anything he says. But the entire internet did...
I mean, if that was his plan, then he probably made that fucking money. Like, hey, that's smart.
Calling him crazy. Now they were calling him a genius. But just before Ryan could walk away, the genius Victor, who played the world and got filthy rich, breaking news hit just days after the fight that Ryan tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. ESPN reported star boxer Ryan Garcia tested positive for the performance-enhancing substance Ostarine the day before and the day of his upset win over Devin Haney last month. Now, there is a due process that people need to respect when it comes to a fighter testing positive. They have an additional B sample test to essentially double-check the results. These trials take at least a few weeks, sometimes even months, to 100% certify that someone is guilty of doping. However, the...
Okay, listen. That nigga gotta take that money out of that bank account and put that shit in offshore, really secure that he has it.
After the news broke, Devin Haney went on ESPN to essentially declare Ryan as a cheater.
During the build-up, we've seen a lot of interesting things from him. We've seen his character. We've seen the guy cheat. We see the type of person that he is.
Ryan immediately proclaimed his innocence.
Like, you got weirdos, bro. They're trying to take a young Christian man down. I would never, ever take steroids in my life. And we already know that. I don't cheat, bro. This is God-given. I'm a Mexican strong. What?
And when you see what was actually found in his system, you will realize there's an extremely low chance that Ryan was intentionally using these PEDs to gain an advantage. Ostarine is a research chemical, not an FDA-approved drug. It is supposed to enhance lean muscle growth and strength. Victor Conte, who is an extremely controversial sports nutrition expert banned from every sport besides boxing, tweeted, "Fake news is being spewed about the New York State Athletic Commission's chart of allowable limits for PEDs. Ostarine has a 0.1 nanograms per milliliter allowable limit, and Ryan Garcia had 6 nanograms per milliliter reported for 419, which is 60 times over the limit. Although 60 times over sounds like an insane stat, we are talking about micrograms, minuscule amounts of the drug. According to Ostarine's clinical trials, 3 milligrams is where the test shows to actually have an impact on performance.
In general, what we've seen when we've seen in the literature is that Ostarine at a dose of about 3 milligrams is kind of where you start to get into the territory of increases in power, something that could be chalked up to useful in sport. Anything below that, you're not really getting, especially as a male, highly unlikely to be getting anything worth taking it to begin with if you're an athlete with even a room temperature IQ coach on your side who would hopefully tell you this is not the compound you want to be using. But there's no sane, not completely idiotic person who would ever suggest using Ostarine as a PED in boxing.
Not only did Ryan have
Yeah, that would be kind of odd when he was like,
the system, but when you consider that he tested positive the day before and the day of the fight, that would not be enough time for the drug to actually improve his performance. He would have had to have been taking much larger doses weeks in advance. This puts into question that Ryan may have taken the drug by accident, which could be possible. Perhaps he took a supplement that he thought was 100% legal, but it wasn't. He brought up numerous times that he took ashwagandha, which is an evergreen shrub that contains chemicals that might help calm the brain and reduce stress, which he thought might have something to do with the positive test. However, his main reason as to why he is being falsely accused actually makes a lot of sense.
Victor Conte is connected to Snack. Snack is who sponsors Devin Haney. He was known to be a chemist and a biohacker that helped a bunch of baseballers cheat. He got banned from baseball.
Stick with me here for a second because I gotta give a little background. Victor Conte is the founder of the Balco Lab, a business that supplied anabolic steroids to professional athletes and Olympians in the 80s and 90s. Conte developed, with the help of a chemist, his own steroid that was undetectable in athlete testing. After 14 years of doping the biggest athletes in the world, including Barry Bonds, Marion Jones, Jason Giambi, Shane Mosley, just to name a few, Conte was tried and found guilty in 2003 for conspiring to distribute performance-enhancing drugs to more than 30 baseball, football, and track and field stars. After serving just 4 months in prison, he proclaims his innocence to this day.
So from 84 all the way until 2000, everything that...
So I think it was just dosing niggas to like
completely clean, no athletes.
to make his like athletes better. It's
Victor rode
crazy.
the paper-thin line of what is illegal and what is simply a deep understanding and manipulation of the rules his whole career.
I know that the anti-doping rules that are in place are so easy for the athletes to beat. It's like taking candy from a baby. Did I feel that I was doing something different than other athletes, coaches, and trainers have done throughout the entire history of the Olympic sport? The answer is no. I mean, the whole history of the Olympic Games is just full of corruption, cover-up, performance-enhancing drug use. It's not what the world thinks it is. It's a fool. It's a fraud.
Despite Victor's crimes, he got right back into the world of sports nutrition after being released from prison. But this time around, he was claiming to be an anti-doping advocate. He started a new company that is basically the same as Balco called SNAC, which is his supplement company that they say has been pioneering the expansion of human potential by utilizing clinical science to drive athletic performance. SNAC is a sponsor of Devin Haney, who works one-on-one with Victor Conte. Additionally, Victor has associations with VADA, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association. VADA is the company that performed the drug test on Ryan. Now, Victor is not the owner nor founder of VADA, and they claim he has no association.
I do hear VADA be having some wild ass like controversial like what's the word, like experiences? Nah, not experiences, but they do be in some controversy occasionally for like doping and shit like that.
Association with the company, but he's very much an outspoken
Like
advocate.
letting people like pass.
An outspoken anti-doping advocate in 2005, so I refer my fighters to VADA. That's the extent, of my relationship. Did I introduce Margaret Goodman and Flip Hamonsky that run VADA to people like Dick Pound, who was the founding chairman of WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, and others that helped them be able to do the testing at WADA-accredited labs? Yes, I made some introductions, but nothing more than that.
So is it suspicious that the guy who literally created steroids that don't show up on drug tests works directly with Ryan's opponent and is a huge advocate with ties to the company that is doing the drug test on Ryan? Well, that's up for you to decide. Ryan Garcia has been served a 1-year ban until April 20th, 2025. His victory was removed from him and ruled as a no contest. Therefore, Devin Haney technically retains his undefeated record. Ryan also had to forfeit his prize earnings of $1.2 million. Luckily, he bet on himself, unless the Vegas pit bosses are trying to track him down and get their refund as well. At the end of the day, it is Ryan's responsibility to know exactly what goes into his body. He knows how serious drug testing is in this sport, and if the legal limit for a drug is 0, then anything over that is cheating. End of story. Even if it was an accident or a setup. Having specific drugs in your system on the day of the fight is against the rules and considered cheating. However, I do find it odd that Victor Conte said this.
Let's for just a moment talk about Devin Haney, my guy, and how horrible this is for him that he has to deal with this stuff. And until we get a reasonable explanation from Ryan, the burden of proof is on him to prove there was no intent to cheat. Because otherwise, I don't care if somebody snuck into your room and spiked your toothpaste, you're going to be responsible.
It seemed very specific that he mentioned someone sneaking drugs into their opponent's toothpaste as a setup. I mean, I didn't even know that was possible, so kind of sounds like someone who was speaking from experience. Now, with Ryan feeling like he was set up, combined with his excessive alcohol consumption, his life began crashing down. His mother was diagnosed with cancer, and he tweeted, "If my mom dies, I'm going with her." 1 week later, he was arrested in Los Angeles for felony vandalism after a Beverly Hills hotel accused him of
That
causing
nigga
an
crashing
estimated
out.
$15,000 in damage. Then the next week, he went viral again for his drunken antics at a poker game alongside other celebrities like Jimmy Butler, Ninja, and Dan Bilzerian.
You gonna chug that whole thing? All right. A diamond would be insane.
Even if he wanted to give Ryan the benefit of the doubt and see his perspective, he would send out some ridiculous tweet or go on a drunken rant that made you realize no 25-year-old should be acting like this. And on July 4th, 2024, he would officially cross the line. Ryan joined a Twitter space in a drunken stupor and in less than 6 minutes managed to finally do irreversible damage.
Nah. Nah.
The fact that you're speaking on black crime doesn't just speak about enough.
Oh nah, bro. He's racist? Oh my god.
Hey, guess what? I'll be talking. That nigga was a crackhead, bro. He died. He had fentanyl in the system. Hey, let's go.
He's saying that, nigga. Nah, bro. He's geeking, bro.
You want to talk about what's going on in the world?
Anybody be thinking they be saying the N-word and all that shit, bro. That's really crazy to me. Oh, he said that too? Oh my god. He's checking all the boxes.
Guess what? I will never be touched. I'm not regretting it. I swear to God. I've never been touched. Like,
This thing, he needs to get off Twitter. This thing needs to get off Twitter, bro. I ain't gonna lie, Twitter is where you get caught up. I don't even have a Twitter. I don't plan to get one. That's how you get caught up in the future. Like he's really like on these Twitter spaces talking all this shit. That's crazy. That's literally how you get like caught up with some shit like this.
Go on the internet and speak without consequences, because that's exactly what he has done for the past few months. But this time he finally said too much. And
Pull up on Jack Doherty. That shit crazy.
World Boxing Council after the president tweeted,
They're trying to get that nigga going.
Garcia from any activity with our organization. We reject any form of discrimination. I fear for Ryan's well-being as he has declined multiple attempts for our help with mental health and substance abuse. And if you thought Ryan woke up sober and had a moment of clarity after realizing he let the darkest part of his mind spill out onto the internet, you'd be wrong.
And guess what? I'm not apologizing for nothing. You ain't gonna catch me apologizing.
Followed by more empty apology tweets like, I take all responsibility for my words. I misunderstood. I just got a lot of trauma. I struggle with substance abuse and it's hard for me with everything going on. I actually love black people, no cap, which is why I'm actually sad I offended all my...
I actually love black people. If you have to say that, oh my god, you're done for. You're done for. Oh my god. Oh, but the no cap. The no cap, yeah, it adds so much to it. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't like take that part in. The no cap really just add to it.
Black family and friends. Also to the Muslim community and all my homies that are Muslims, my bad.
He has to apologize to every community. Like every community. I didn't hear anything about Muslim, but he said Muslim too. Black people, Muslims, gay people, Christians. It's a lot of people.
His apologies were sincere. The damage had been done. His own family
You see,
was forced to make statement
he said my bad. He didn't say I'm sorry. He said my bad, my fault.
announcing everything he said. Brian has been open about his ongoing struggle with mental health over the years, and as a family, we are committed to ensuring and encouraging that he receives the necessary help to navigate this very challenging time. His father is now even pleading for him to go to rehab.
I would love for him to get some type of therapy when it comes to his drinking.
But as long as Ryan has access to social media, he will continue to make posts that just dig a deeper hole for himself and reveal his true intentions. If he does not change his behavior, he will have thrown away his entire life's work and may never step into the ring again.
Well, yeah, but he'd still be good even without stepping into the ring, though. Like, financially. I know it's not only about financials, but I'm saying financials is a good, like, a big aspect of that. You know, people need to pay more attention to the financials of it. I feel like that part's heavily overlooked, and that'll lead to more niggas being like, "Oh, this will end this nigga's career." No, it won't. That's just a general overstatement. Yep, I'm in the stream now. I appreciate y'all. If anybody sees this afterwards, follow. You know, I appreciate the follows, even if you don't come back. You know, but still, I want you to come back. Follow. You know, I can't say sub because, you know, but if you see it on YouTube, do sub because it doesn't cost you any money. But yeah.